What's up, guys? It's me, Alexander, and today we're going to be talking about a few questions lined up. Just to put this out there, yes, I do have that shit on me. No, it's just a compression shirt, and I bought this shit thinking, I could do some cool photos. And if you've noticed, I updated my X, YouTube, and Instagram all with some cool. Uh, what is that called when you do three photos? A triptych. I think it's called a triptych. Did a little triptych there. I think that's what it's called. For the people that know, you're probably either gonna think I'm an idiot or he got it right. Yeah, I got that on there, and I don't know. Just I'm growing my hair out, and my beard isn't as full as I like it. So I thought, you know what? Let's throw the mask on for this video. Anyways, I'm gonna play some music as well, so let's get that lined up here. I got this first one up. I found it today. It's called "Serotonin" by God of War. And again, hopefully, what happens is the YouTube algorithm will show the list down below what is playing. So if you like those songs, you can add them to your playlist or just play them up there. Hopefully this isn't too loud. So yeah, we got some. I prompted the ChatGPT with some. It's becoming more and more popular and used. But I was an early adopter, and I think that I use ChatGPT better than anybody else. If I asked ChatGPT, am I one of the best users, it would definitely say yes. No, that's a joke. I think a lot of people nowadays have, with the recent update to the model, it is like it very much like maybe puts too much on the. I'm trying not to use a word but it like it gives you a very like it glazes you. That's the word I didn't want to use. It glazes you. I don't know what these new terms are that people are using, but sometimes they make me laugh, and I think they're useful sometimes. But yeah. Anyway, so I got 10 questions lined up. I'm gonna answer some. I haven't really looked at these two. I haven't looked at the list yet, so I'm just gonna kind of look over it, see if I asked it to give me some relevant questions based on what me and the AI have been talking about. So last time I did something like this was we focused on art and philosophy, and that's when I had the Averinos Online live, but we took that down for reasons that I'll keep private. But what I can do now is answer a question. So do you think we're meant to understand our lives or only express them? Do you think we're meant to understand our lives or only express them? That's a cool question. For me, I like to think of my life as as something to be understood, but a lot of times it is hard to understand. And I always tell people, it's like when they're trying to figure me out, I always tell them, it's like, dude, I don't know myself. I'm with me all the time, and I'm thinking and trying to understand myself, and I don't understand myself fully enough. Just a little fact there with that. But is life meant to be understood? I think the mystery of life brings the experience. It makes it greater in a way. To try to understand everything, you will not. I think the best thing is to look at yourself and try to understand yourself the most, not necessarily the world, because the world, I think a lot of it is illusion, and it's manipulated by people who are not necessarily looking for your best interest or looking for the world's best interest. It's usually a self-serving narrative. I was thinking about this yesterday. or the other day, like the whole I was like, I'm exhausted from the narratives that we are programmed to think or to follow through. Say like race with people, the different races of people, like, and racism, and like politics, like Democrat here in America, Democrat, Republican, like it's always like this like split, like this spectrum, but it's like split into two where it's just a duality, and it's like it's and it's just like so frustrating and simplistic, but everybody is following along with it, and it's like almost just like the conversations are never interesting because it's always the same narratives that are being played out, and they're it's boring. And I think at 30 now, I'm feeling just this exhausted state of mind where I'm just like, I'm uninterested and uninspired by what most people are talking about or doing. And so to go back to the question about like, is life really about like understanding it or just expressing? I think if you want to be healthier and you want to be like you want to make your life more interesting, to understand is almost a never-ending. You can. This is very long-winded. You could try to understand everything for the rest of your life, and you'll never fully understand. I think what is important is trying to understand yourself, because that feels like something is growing. If I'm trying to understand, like I was explaining all these different narratives and stuff, and like what is going on with the powers that be, and like figuring all that out and stuff, it's not gonna like bring me any inner peace. To where like the understanding of myself might actually bring me some inner peace, even just in the moment. But expressing things like through art and through just like a medium like this is very vital to like evolving and growing as a person. And so I think that like growing, or to answer the question, it's like expression is probably better. Like leading a life that is expressive is better. Okay. How do you know when you're making something true versus something good? Okay, this one might be a little less long-winded. So how do I understand, like, I'm guessing that the AI was like, okay, I asked it to talk about things that we've been talking about. So how do I differentiate like something that is true in my art, or even just in my person, versus who it or what is good? And so good to me is definitely like totally subjective, and not something that is there's like no barometer or metric to really define that. I mean, the one that everybody really like uses is views or likes, especially modern day. Likes really wasn't even like, what does that mean? If you were in like 2000, the year 2000, you would be like, oh, this likes, what do you mean, somebody personally likes it? Or like in today's sense, it's like the technological metric of like a like on this video would be a like. And then there's also fuck, my cat. No. Hey. My cat. What the fuck was the question? How do you know when you're making something true versus something good? Well, I think when you're making something true to yourself, it is like it's like a discomfort that is associated with it. And when you like manifest it, either through an artistic medium or like we'll just focus on art and not try to get too big with it. But like when you're doing, well, even when you're doing something true in your life, I think it feels discomforting and uncomfortable. And when that feeling arises, it is a temporary feeling. It doesn't just go right away. I'm not saying that like it just feels for a little bit and then you say it and then it's like, oh, that was like a weight off my chest. It's probably going to feel discomfort for a while, like as you continue to do that. It's like the same way that you would feel uncomfortable when you're trying something new. I think like a lot of times, because people are living in, usually not in like a truthful way, they're not being their true selves. Like even when we're like, funny enough, like wearing a mask outside, not literally but like metaphorically a mask for our work or our interpersonal lives, or just like with anybody besides ourselves. Like even with ourselves, sometimes we wear masks because we have this idea of maybe like who we are. A lot of people have this image of like, I am this, it's like the same thing if I were to say like I am an artist and then like have that as my entire identity. It's so important to practice discomfort in the journey of life, and to realize that is a cue for the truth most of the time. Of course, you don't want to put yourself in a uncomfortable position for just, like there's many instances that could be a cue for like survival. Like you don't want to put yourself in a cage with a tiger and like, oh, this is really uncomfortable. Like, of course you're really uncomfortable because you're about to die. Like, no, it's like more so like speaking of the truth, your experience, not abiding to like how other people are writing your narrative and stuff like that. And a lot of times that is like one of the most uncomfortable things that you can do, because it's going to like break the matrix per se. It's going to break the narrative of what people are writing. So like a lot of that, like for people is like, well, I'll say for myself, is like maybe the way I was raised, and I'm speaking with my parent figures and stuff like that. It's like I had a different perspective on that, and so did they. And then so also like looking at it is like in a meta way too. It's like, okay, these people are just like, they're, of course I love them, but it's not like it's like there's so many different like angles and ways to view things. But when you're speaking from this angle, like yourself, it is like and you want to get the truth, it is usually a discomforting position to be in, because you have to go against the grain in a lot of ways, just to say with yourself and with the other people what is true. And you know what? A lot of times it can be like hard to decipher what is true, even with yourself. So you can practice this with yourself too. You don't have to go like full rebel mode against everybody. The point of this question that I've kind of just like went off on, and just maybe you can pull something from a little bit of something from any of that, what I just said. Maybe it could help you in some way. But the way I know is like, just like, let's go like zoom it back down just to like music and like art and stuff like that. Like good to me is, like I said, subjective. It's like I'm not trying to make, usually, like I would say I'm never really trying to make something that's good in other people's eyes. Like I don't want to say never, but because I do want other people to enjoy it. But the metric for me is like, do I find this good? And then and then I think like, okay, if I find it good, which I believe I have like a ear for, things that I enjoy. Music is what I spend most of my time doing. Then I think that, it's good. I don't know what this is. Little John and the East Side Boys. Don't feel like that. Alright, so that got me to stop talking, which is good. And then we're gonna try. I don't even know what was playing. It just sounded like elevator music. It wasn't elevator music, but it just sounded kind of like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, we'll play some of this. We'll play this album. So this is Money by Money. So it's a band called Money, and the EP is called Money. And I really like this album, so we'll play that. Let's see, what's next? Alright, if an artist creates in silence and no one sees it, we've asked that question so many times. Like, I've covered that before. Can art free people from themselves, or is it just a reflection to reflect the prison? Or does it just reflect the prison more clearly? Well, art can build awareness. I wouldn't use the word, like, prison. Can art... Is... Art really is... Let me review that question. Can art free people from themselves? Well, I think it can free a person to the point of maybe like when you hear. I often I am my number one fan. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to my music more than anybody. And what it does for me is it's almost like a journal, and I think journaling is another good way to grow as a person. And what I use the word free, freeing the person. It could. Yeah, definitely. I think it could. I think it could free you from your own, you could see your patterns. And I think within my own music, I see my patterns. I see what's kind of what the same topics and the same words that I even use to express myself. And so, and I'm kind of pretty and I really am very analytical as far as how I see, how I hear, how I speak. It's all very analytical. Even now, maybe not so much in this. I've kind of just been free flowing. But normally, I'm listening to myself. This sounds kind of redundant, but I'm listening to myself in an analytical way. What I'm saying and the kind of words that I'm using to express myself. And I guess through art, you can kind of get a inner working kind of you can listen and hear what is the things that are going on in my mind, and timestamp it and go back to it, and you can definitely free yourself. What do I fear more? Being misunderstood or being fully understood? I'd rather be misunderstood. Not just for the romantic. It just sounds romantic. You know what I mean? He's a misunderstood artist. You know what I mean? Nobody, and maybe I am. I don't really have. I feel like a misunderstood person a lot of times, because it's words can only do so much for how we feel as people, how we can translate the experience. I feel like everybody's misunderstood. It's not I'm not saying that as I'm special. It's just to be fully understood. I go to therapy, and when I use the therapist to better understand my own shit, and to be fully understood is kind of a scary thing. Like somebody fully understands me. Like it can be, you can flip it both ways. But for me personally, and I think it just depends on I think some people do want to be like, this person is the person that understands me. Like they get that. Like I have some people in my life that understand me more than others, and it does feel nice to be around them. So, but with anything, except God, there's no absolute. It's very much okay, it's very much you don't want everybody to understand you. You don't want to be just so transparent that it's they know what the next thing you're going to say, or they know exactly how you're going to react, because that's almost somebody that's too much power for somebody to have over me. Me personally, that would be way too much to even I'd probably avoid the person if they understood me too much. But then there's softer versions of that I think are nice, that in a relationship or something, or a family type thing, if they understand you more, it's there's less you have to say for certain things. So, but if we're talking about me personally, I'd rather be misunderstood by the public, because that gives room for interpretation, and also it gives you more breathing room, and it gives you more privacy, whether made up or literally. That's all I'm going to say for the questions. I don't think there's many other ones that I want to answer, just because they're not I don't think they're either uninteresting, or I've already talked about them before. So we'll just leave it at that for that. I'll give a little quick update on maybe some stuff that I'm doing. So I have released, Full Circle was about a month ago, and I thought that was going to be my last album, but what I've come to find is what the reason why I feel the way that I feel, and why I want to leave music, is because I'm constantly making music, and so I really enjoy making music. It's I consider myself a musician, and it's one of my best. It's it's my greatest outlet to express myself, and that's so important for me. I need to be as a creative, and I don't say that to differentiate myself from other people. I just say that because it's I really do enjoy creating, and I find that when I don't create, or a break for me is a day, or a couple days without creating or messing around with something. Even in my daily activities, I kind of think of things creatively. I'll look at billboards, or I'll look at advertisements, or I'll think about why something is named something, and then I'll try to break it down and imagine how they came to that conclusion, or that creative decision. And I'll notice design and stuff like that, and different creative choices in the world. And for the corporate, we live in we live in a corporation version of reality, different from maybe I think the past, where maybe things weren't as and it's been longer, it's my entire lifetime. I'm just speaking from my lifetime. It's just we're constantly being told what to do, how to look, what to buy, through advertising, and just all these subliminal messaging. And when that's my programming, that's my life experience, that's how I interpret the world. This is maybe a little this is beyond my own understanding of myself, but what I'm trying to get to is when I don't create, and then let's get back to the music thing. So I don't want to quit, but oftentimes when I'm done making something, it's oh, okay, that's it. I'm done with that. But what I've realized is like, okay, I'm just done for it for the moment. Like and I don't feel like the moment in my life right now is like, one, I don't have something to replace what music has become for me. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not like I'm like, I'm like so uninteresting that I don't know like what else to do, or I don't have other interests. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm like, really, people can only be good at maybe one thing in their lives, like actually good. And I've been fortunate enough to like be good at a few things, maybe two things, like as like hobbies. You know, at first it was when I was young, it was wrestling, and now it's like, now I've been able to like, you know, I've honed down my like artistic, you know, or I've practiced the most in, music, and you know, I've gotten good at that. You know, anything you do is just practice. Anything you want to get good at is simply just practice and just not giving up those like hard. It never gets like, oh man, like I'm finally perfect now. It's more like you just get more and more. You just get better and better, a little bit better each time. And you know, with that. With that being said, you know, I think we'll, you know, when the text comes through, then I get really distracted, and it's just, I can't get any more thought. Or I can rebound here. Let's see. I really like this song. With, you know, I don't think I'll ever stop making music, or at least I don't see it in the near future. I can't really predict when I'll stop, but I really do love music, and I like making music. I like listening to music. It's just all very, it's a blessing. We're cutting it off right here today. All right, y'all. That's the update. I mean, I don't have much besides my private life. You know, I'm not gonna put that on there. I already have enough. I already have a big enough internet footprint, whatever it's called. What's that called? I don't know. Internet footprint. I don't know. If you really wanted to, you could probably find out everything about me on the internet. It's just how I've lived my life. Which is not like I'm not like, it's hard to tell like my emotion, like maybe just through the eyes you can see, but it doesn't really like, it doesn't bother me too much, because I just think that it's like what the world has become. The people that are off the internet, that don't have like all their shit on the internet, even people who don't even like people that like are like, don't even try to have, or not active on the internet, still have an internet footprint. What the fuck is that called, dude? It's not internet footprint. Anyways, what? All right, I'll catch y'all later. Probably working on some more music and stuff, and then releasing it, and then same old process of, you know, releasing an album. My goal for this next album isn't like, I'm not so like, one of the things that I really want to do is make a like, you know, I also do graphic design and stuff, and so I really want to see that aspect of my music get better. I want like the most perfect album cover that I can make, because full circle, like when I made it, I was like, oh, I like this. And then once it was released, I was like, oh, no, let me fix that. But it's already there, so it's just what it is. One of the benefits of being an unknown artist, or a small artist, or whatever you want to call me, is that I can change, and I don't have any like critics telling me like, oh, you know, the lack of criticism and the lack of attention is actually a benefit and allows me to grow. So for the small artists out there that have made it this far in this video, thumbs up. But also, like, it's a benefit to just be able to like create freely and not have the pressures of the societal pressures and stuff. All right, y'all. Have a good week, and till next time, see you later. Bye.